Hey guys, good morning, Creator Mom. Happy Friday. Again, hey, it's Friday the 13th. Cool. Anyways, I wanted to talk about, should parents have sex with their children, like in the house, or with their children in places where they know their kids will be able to hear them. So I'm not going to give a clinical answer, or like my answer ain't going to be backed by research or anything like that. I'm just sharing my experience and my opinion about this. So as someone who did hear their mother and stepfather having sex, probably often, you know how, like, I feel like with this childhood memory, I remember an instance, but I know that it wasn't an instance, you know, like it wasn't one time. It was definitely something repeated. Anyways, so first off, I'm going to say my opinion is that no, I do not think that children should be able to hear their parents having sex, or whatever, their mother and stepfather, whoever. I don't think they should be in the vicinity where other people are having sex. And when I say child, I mean any child. Like, so first of all, let me just say, as an adult, I personally don't really want to be in the same house, well, or in the next to the room. I don't want to be in the vicinity where I'm going to be hearing other people have sex. Say I have a roommate, you know what I'm saying? Like, I say our rooms are next to each other. I don't really want to be in my room hearing my roommate and her or his partner having sex. Like, to me, that's not ideal. It's not, you know, it's... but as an adult, you know, me and my roommate can communicate. They can say, hey, I'm going to have so-and-so over, you know, like, we can respect each other in that way, you know, for the other people in our living space. And as an adult, I would have the agency to get up and say, okay, I'll just go shopping, or I'll leave the house for like 2 hours, or, you know what I'm saying? We have more freedom as an adult to make those choices. But as a child, you're subject to those things, and you really can't do much about it but fucking put your hands over your ears, hide in your closet. You can't run out of your house, you know? You can't run away from it. So yeah. So my point is, I don't think that anyone really wants to hear anyone else having sex. I think that that's like a private thing, you know? And not to mention, what about sexual energy? When you hear someone having sex and you hear those sounds, as an adult, that might even cause a little bit of an arousal in you. You know what I'm saying? Just by the sounds and knowing how that feels, you know? And not that you want to be aroused by hearing somebody else have sex, but it can just be nature fucking taking over. And when you're a child and you're 9 or 10 years old and you hear those sounds, that energy, that sexual energy is present. And that might not even be something that's ready to be felt or awakened in a child. That can be very confusing. But if you're at an age and that energy kind of, and then you feel something from that energy, you're like, whoa, that can be disgusting, you know? And I never thought about that until this morning when I was contemplating that, you know, about the whole sexual energy. There's energy there. Again, I'm going to say children don't need to feel that energy, or maybe they're not ready for that. Now, a 5-year-old or somebody, you know, child smaller or younger than 5, they may not have that awareness yet. And so maybe parents can get away with that, you know, like, you know, having sex in the room and you're like, you know, infant or toddlers in the next room. They really might not even know better. They might not be subject to that energy. You know what I'm saying? So that is probably different. But I'm saying for like a child like 5 and up, where awareness is starting to grow and they're, you know, maybe they can feel energies or whatever, I definitely don't think that's appropriate. And when I was young, I remember getting really upset one day. Like, it's just like, when your parent, I keep saying your parents, but this guy was not my father, he was my stepfather, but whatever. But when I'll just say parents for the sake of using that word. But when your parents go in the other room and they lock the door, it's like, what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's traumatizing. It's like, oh God, oh no. I have, God, they're going to make those sounds again or whatever. So I remember one time getting really upset. I must have been 10 or something like that. I can't remember, but I know what house it took place in, and that's how I'm able to kind of gauge what age I was in. So 10, 10-year-olds are awakening. They are starting to know things. So, I remember getting really pissed off that I had to be subject to hearing these fucking sounds that I just didn't want to hear anymore. And I just went over to their room, because my wall was shared with their wall. We had the same fucking wall. So I went over to their room and I busted open the door. I broke the fucking lock because I wanted to make it stop. I wanted to make it stop. And then I got a speech about this is how we show love to each other. Obviously, in an adult perspective, when you're talking to other adults and say, yes, we have, me and my partner, we have sexual intimacy, we show love. Fine, that's one thing, but that doesn't mean that your child also wants to be subject and involved in that, in your energy, in your sexual energy, in that intimacy. It's just different. And partners and parents can show love to each other around their children in other ways, by being kind to one another, and treating each other well, etc., etc. It doesn't have to be through saying, hey, listen to us have sex. Like, there's just something different there. It's a different energy. And like I said, adults don't necessarily even want to really hear other adults doing it. Come on. It's like, I can't put much more words to it than I have put already. Although I am searching, but in my mind. So for me as a child, it was extremely upsetting. And it's so upsetting that even when the memory comes back in my mind, even I'm not there anymore, right? But we know that our memories can bring back emotions and feelings. So I still, which I probably need healing from, and I just give myself love and compassion for having had to experience that when I don't think that I should have needed to experience that. But I still feel the anger, rage, and disgust, as if I was right back in that situation. Those emotions are still there when I think about that memory, but I'm healing myself of it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take over my life, but sometimes it comes to me, and I think, wow, because, like I said, it was traumatizing for me. I don't think that there's anything else that I want to say about that. And I would never subject my kids to that. Only because I personally feel that it's very wrong. And it can be very awkward for a child to have to hear that. There's other ways for mom and dad to show that they love each other while they're in front of their children, or while their children are present. Mom and dad can finagle their schedule and work around their kid when their kid's not going to be home or something like that. There's ways, but when you grow up with a narcissistic parent, I don't know if they think like that. They think, well, I gotta get my sexual needs met. I'm not gonna let her stop me from getting my sexual needs met. My mom was a very sexual person. Even talked to me about things like that when I was younger, and just overly sexual. You know what I'm saying? It's healthy, I guess, to talk to your kids about sex and reproductive organs, especially when they are asking about it, But there's just some parents that talk about it a lot. They joke about it, and it's inappropriate when their kids are little. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. I guess that's all I want to share. So I Googled it too. I looked up a forum on Quora, I think. I couldn't read the Reddit one for some reason, but Quora, somebody had asked the question. And there were so many people saying that, yes, I've experienced this. It was very traumatizing. I feel very disgusted. I thought I was like the only one. You know, in a way, I don't think I ever looked it up before. And I was like, you know what? Let me make a video about it. But many people were traumatized by having to be subjected to, you know, listening to their parents have sex. It's not fair. It's not fair to the child. You know, like I said, and as an adult, don't want to hear it, but we can work it out. You know, right? I can leave, whatever. It's not as bad when you're an adult. You know. So anyways, I'm going to end this video here. If you experience something similar, comment down below.